Hi, my name's Chris Candy, and this is the Never Not Run podcast. Or no.
Or do the NNR for.
This is the Never Not Run podcast. I'm your host, Chris Candy.
And I'm Mark Nieto.
Okay.
It's happening. We're back.
The Never Not Run pod.
What are we? We're on episode 11 now?
This is episode 11. We've done 11 of these.
Yeah. Well, we're doing 11. This is number 11. We are out on location right now, so that might be why you're hearing some sounds of nature and also what sounds like some kind of another dive bomber. We've been getting a lot of
like planes.
Plane interruptions in somebody's flight path right now.
You know what, though? That's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I don't even think people can hear it.
Yeah, I don't think the audience cares that much.
No, I don't think so. And if you do care, sorry.
Where are we, Chris?
We're in Griffith Park, California, in Los Angeles. We're at Trails Cafe, and we're getting ready. We're doing our first run, actually, like a group run with Ty Haney, and the company is called Get Joggy. It's Joggy brand. CBD company. It's all under the umbrella of Try Your Best, TYB, which is this new kind of platform that's going to be delivering all kinds of cool brands in the athletic and running community. So Joggy's, it's a CBD brand, and Ty Haney is going to be joining us today because we are doing a joint run with them. And Never Not Run, we're leading it. We're doing like a little under 2 miles. It's just kind of a jog walk. Gonna hang with some people, and we're stoked because Ty's gonna be on the pod today.
Yeah, Ty is our guest. I'm very excited to hear about her history.
Yeah,
with fitness, with running, with all that. And hear about what she's up to now. It sounds like it could be a pretty useful thing for athletes.
I tried some of the Joggy stuff the other day, and it was pretty active.
It works.
Yeah, I think everyone has a different relationship with CBD, but I haven't really taken much, and I definitely felt it in a good way. But she'll be on to talk to us all about the different styles of it and if it's something for you or not for you. But dude, Mark, what the hell's going on with you, man?
It's been a crazy few weeks. I'm really sad to have missed the last race that you guys did.
Yes.
That was a week ago?
Yeah, we did the, what was it, the Earth Day 5K. We raised like $150 for Friends of the LA River, which was great. We had an in-person meetup, and we had about like 4 people joining in digitally throughout the world. It was great, man. It was nice to have kind of like some races get going again, because that was what we started this thing by, getting people together by doing some foot races. And happy to announce we got a bunch more coming up. We've got we're gonna do the Solstice 10K, get the Halloween half, and then we're gonna do the half by half at the end of this year. And just for the listeners, that's gonna be every year. We might do some other random races, but you can count on those 4 races happening every year. That is the Never Not Run stamp of approval.
And there's always going to be the kind of fundraising element to it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're going to try and find some kind of charity to raise some funds for. The Solstice one will have something of note, and yeah, that was great. It's always just nice to be able to get a community together and raise a little bit of money for some good cause.
And everybody came out feeling great, right?
Dude, man, we had Alex Stassi, Dan Fonder, Keaton. It was nice, man. It was a good meetup. Oh,
crew.
Dude, Ryan Moraga rolled up.
Nice,
dude. People were crushing it. It was fun. I'm happy. I'm also excited because I know that next week, this week, I guess, from when we're, dropping this pod, you and I are heading up to old Yosemite for.
That's right, for the Vacation Races Yosemite Half Marathon.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I love it up there. I've been visited that area a bunch, and I'm really pumped for the experience of being able to run. It's going to be, I think, mostly on fire roads.
Okay.
So it won't be like a total trail run, but I think it'll still be like really beautiful.
Dude, I haven't trained at all, so I'm just going into this. Like I think I could do it. I'm going to try this weekend to do a 10, and if I can get to 10, then I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed. So, I mean, we follow each other on Strava. I've noticed that you've been putting down some miles. So I feel like you've been consistent.
Yeah.
In terms of like getting out. But I think like we talked about earlier too, that it's mostly a downhill course, and from what I understand, is like they're being pretty lax with like,
right.
They're not expecting people to like go out and
Yeah.
It feels like it's gonna be a lot of kind of like people like us, just like easy runners.
The easy runners.
She's an
easy runner. She's got a hold on you. Yeah. New t-shirt dropping this holiday season. The Never Not Run Easy Runner shirt.
That's if we ever put out a shoe, that's what we got to call
the Easy
it.
Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can get a sponsorship who will want to design a shoe with us. On anyone, Hoka. We are not taken. We're not a taken brand.
Yeah.
Okay, we're open. Nike.
Yeah, we'll roll with
New Balance. Who needs the bump? We'll give it to you with the Easy Runner.
Yeah.
Dude, the Easy Runner is
max cushion,
full pushing, grid, resistance, elasticity, grip. It's got it all.
Oh yeah, God, I can't wait. It's gonna be like when Homer Simpson designs the car. That's gonna be like the shoe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna bankrupt some
poor shoe brand.
Yeah.
I remember when I was working for Stussy, and I help out with the skate shop Rip City in Santa Monica. It's like a very famous skate shop, and I was working at Stussy at the time, and Stussy wanted to do a Rip City collab, and so I remember put together this capsule of all these awesome pieces of artwork for the shirts, got all this old West Humpston artwork, all these things, and we released it. And so for the listener, like, I grew up working at Rip City. It's an old skate shop from like 1978. And for me to get that brand marriage of like Rip City and Stussy was like such like a huge thing, right? It was a crazy feat. And I remember I read like a trade magazine with David, who owns Stussy. And David was like, yeah, like, we're down to just do projects that might not even make us any money, like Rip City.
Oh no.
But it makes sense, right? Like Rip City's so local.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense in that those are the roots of Stussy, right?
It's part of its DNA.
Yeah, exactly. So if anything, like Stussy might, I mean, it's a tribute, right? They're paying tribute to like the people that kind of pushed them in the beginning.
It was still very cool, and I was always appreciative of that. But I just remember going like, oh yeah, this maybe a moneymaker for Rip City, maybe not so much for Stussy.
Well, you could think of that experience as like your half marathon, and then getting the NNR shoe is going to be
the
like
full
your
marathon.
Yeah, it's going to be like your bad water.
well, we're excited about that. But yeah, we're going to be running that next weekend, which I'm really looking forward to. I've never been to Yosemite. I think we're going to pod from up there too. So
yeah.
And sorry for the gap in time. We're trying to keep some kind of consistency going with these. But you know what? It's a lot of work.
Well, especially
getting people.
Yeah, not only getting booking people. I mean, we're down to have whoever, and we've been really lucky and grateful for all the people that have come on thus far and given us their time and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think the last 2 episodes were, we got a lot of really great feedback, and also just I was really happy with the way those came out. I think you did a great job.
Well, Mark, you did a great job putting it together, man.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think it just, both of us it's just going to turn into a little ego fest. But, I think that was kind of, I like that format, that was a really entertaining way to kind of approach what is like kind of a weird, it's like, how do you talk about a race like that?
Yeah.
And encompass all of it. But I think it came together really well.
I was really happy with it. I think it did a great job of kind of explaining what the Speed Project is. And I'm stoked that we're doing all of these things.
And they reposted it too.
They did. Yeah. Thank you, Speed Project. That. Yeah. I really appreciate that.
Hopefully they listened to it and were into it.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, for the listener, drop a few notes in the comment section. Let us know you're out there. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd rather have episodes where just Mark and I are talking, we'll do it. But we want to get compelling interviews. We want to get the guests that you want to hear from. I'm really excited. We have some ones that are coming up down the line that are really exciting. So you're tuned to the right channel, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, you bring up a good point because, I think both of us are still trying to kind of zoom in on how we want to carry forward with this, right?
Yeah.
And if we want it to be more of a weekly thing where it's Chris and I just hanging out chatting, or if you want to do interviews, or if you want us to be out in the field doing like what we did for the LA Marathon Expo, like that kind of stuff. So I guess whatever people are into, I think we still have the flexibility to try out different formats and see what works best.
Absolutely. I think that at the end of the day, I'm just really stoked to be doing the pod and really happy to be doing it with you, Mark. And I'm excited today because we're gonna have a fun conversation with Ty, get to know what she's up to, what's going on now. She has a big history in athletics, and I'm just excited to hear what she has to say about her relationship with movement.
All right, well, let's do it.
All right, you're listening to the Never Not Run pod, broadcasting live from Trails Cafe in Griffith Park, Los Angeles, California. Okay, we're here. Podding. Podcast.
On location.
Hell yeah, Griffith Park.
With Ty Haney. What's up, Ty?
What up?
Thank you for coming out today.
Thanks for coming out.
This.
Of course. I'm excited to jog with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us to do this. It was like really cool to see like the new endeavor, and like I tried some of the stuff the other day, and it definitely like put me in a zone.
You feel it, right?
I did. Yeah, I really did. Yeah, for the listeners, there's basically from what I understand, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Of course,
but
go for it.
You have kind of two new projects that are coming about right now. One is Try Your Best, which is like kind of a digital platform.
Yep, community building for brands using Web3.
Right, and then and that's a cool like way to interact with products. It's like a really direct line, I think. And Joggy is a brand that is being released under that.
Yep, it's a TYB incubated brand, and so just. Quickly, my background was Outdoor Voices.
Yeah.
Spent the last 8 years building in the kind of clothing apparel world, really with the mission to inspire people to move on a daily basis, which is similar to what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Right.
It was awesome. Our number one strength was our community. We had a massive kind of ambassador network kind of distributed everywhere that would host events on our behalf, and it really was awesome from a community standpoint and brand building standpoint. But operationally something extremely hard to kind of coordinate. Mm-hmm. So the new TYB is essentially about building community coordination tools where you can introduce collectibles. So with Joggy, we have the Joggy Doggy, and people who buy the Joggy Doggy get a set of perks.
So yeah, like the Joggy Doggy is like an NFT, which I like will just honestly say like don't know much about NFTs and how they work, but I'm beginning to understand what they are, and we're really appreciative to have one. But when I started interacting with the TYB thing, I was getting it. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like you're asking, because basically what you'll do is you log into this thing, and there's a subset of questions that are asked, and there's also things you can contribute to it. So you kind of feel like you're on the design team for the said product, you know? And I remember one particular was like, if we were to do like a carbonated energy drink, would you, what flavor? I remember there was like questions like that, and I was like, oh, this is like a clever way to kind of mine information from people and really see what people are interested in.
Yeah. I think so if I think about the future of brands and brand building, it's two things. It's about co-creation. So like your fans not just being passive fans that buy from you, but like integrated into some of the decisions around the product. And then incentivization. And that's what is really cool about Web3, and it's very new kind of in this space. So I get that right now people are like, what the fuck are NFTs? And like, why should I care? It sounds like they're bad for the earth. But actually they're quite meaningful as these collectibles that live on the blockchain, live in your wallet, and they can accrue value over time. So with Joggy Doggy, we sold 500 of them. The headline perk is that you as a Joggy Doggy owner, as Joggy grows, will get royalties from revenue. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
No, it makes total sense.
Absolutely.
No. You've got definitely already.
Yeah, that way people have stake in the company, and
Yep.
and it's also, you brought up a good point, but it's I think there needs to be more people that have kind of maybe our shared values in that space, because it's most likely going to be a technology that's going to be around for a while.
Totally.
And it's, I think
Not going anywhere.
Not going
yeah,
anywhere.
and it's like it's gotten sometimes it gets a weird or a bad rap, and it's like we should be having people that are like inspired to do good things
Totally.
with it versus like a money making.
The headline. So this is what I like about Web3, and I try to simplify it because it is sometimes complex.
Sure,
But
it's new.
the headline is community ownership, and so the idea is users of a product own that product.
Right.
And that is a beautiful concept to me. And so we're introducing tools via collectibles where brands can more meaningfully incentivize their early fans. And in this case, Joggy's a from zero brand. It hasn't existed, so it's a unique opportunity to say the first 500 people who are part of the club can experience upside as we grow, for helping us grow.
Awesome. Well, we want to talk about a bunch of things today, and we'll definitely get into more of that stuff too as we kind of go through it. But you want to start with the first question we kind of hit people with?
Sure, yeah. Well, we really just wanted to get to know you more and kind of understand what your history with fitness, with running is, and kind of if you can, I guess, go back to maybe your childhood. What was your first experience with running, and if you remember, was it running the mile in school, or was it just playing? How did you kind of interact with movement back then?
I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, super outdoorsy town. Have you guys been?
Yeah.
Okay. We live right at the base of the Flatirons, which are kind of the mountains that stick out of the ground, and we would hike every day. So you'll meet my aunt who's coming today. She's my mom's twin.
Oh, cool.
And both of them are very sporty and sort of indoctrinated me into kind of sport and activity, and hiking every day was my kind of first memory. We would just all, as a family, do the same loop before school, etc. From a running perspective, both of them were track athletes, and so I kind of always was interested in it. I think my youngest memory is running a lap kind of probably in 5th grade around the playground. And I happened to be very fast, and it was always between me and this guy Alec. Who was going to win? Who was going to win? And I remember the last one in 5th grade, I took the lead. But the funny thing is, I'd always look down to the left, and I'd have my mom and my aunt as cheerleaders, go Ty, go Ty, go Ty. They're very competitive, but this was 5th grade around the school type activity. So that was probably my first running. Did
you have a coach, a PE coach that because we talk about it often, because I fell in love with running over time. When I first was told to run a mile, I hated it. I was this sucks so much. And it was always going around it was going around the high school basically was the mile, and I was oh, this sucks. But there was this moment where I came to really love it. But was there any time where you fell out of love with movement or anything like that, or running or?
Mr. Pine was my PE coach who probably got me into running in grade school, and then I fell in love with it, and then I'll go into if there's a time I didn't like it, but I fell in love with hurdles, and I learned to hurdle via my aunt. She would hold a broomstick up in the backyard, and that's cool. Where I learned. But I became very into hurdling, but I got so intense with it that in high school I burned out. So I ultimately, I was pretty good and into it, fast, whatever. I could never beat this girl, Alice, for whatever reason, which really bothered me. Yeah. But I think in junior year, I stopped. And also, I think that a lot of sports are like that. They're so overly competitive nowadays. Gold Crown and the club leagues are just so intense that it's hard. It's not going to be a sustainable, thing in your life. So I stopped for many years.
So then you move on. And where'd you go to college?
I took a year off,
okay.
Went to New York. Actually, I went to Boston before New York, and then got the hell out of Boston very quickly. You might be from Boston, I don't know.
No, I'm from Toronto.
I was in Boston 2 days ago, so I understand the sentiment.
No, no shots fired at Boston, but shots fired at Boston. No, I've definitely been there a handful of times, but I haven't
We actually took a train
through Boston.
Chris and I, we have a very. That's for another
podcast. Yeah, but I remember. Oh my God, we saw. Yeah, anyways, we'll get into that later. Another podcast. Yes, no. I've never spent that much time in Boston. But
Okay.
you haven't either? Sorry.
Did you live through a winter there?
I visited in summer. I was taking a year off after high school, and I'm like, I got to go somewhere and do,
Wait, you took
live
your year
life.
off in Boston?
Well, listen.
Okay.
I went and visited in the summer, and like you're walking through the parks, and it's beautiful and flowers, and you're like, this is heaven. And then I show up to Somerville, and it's fall, and then it very quickly becomes winter, and it's like the nor'easter. And I'm walking I worked in Harvard Square at this place called the Boulder Cafe, slinging margaritas.
Okay.
And holy shit, that was
Yeah.
no more, fun at all in 6 feet
yeah.
of snow. I had moon boots, but it just was not good. So
Yeah.
I took the Funghua bus to New York, and
Okay.
I went to school in New York at Parsons.
Oh, yeah. I
Nice.
know a ton of people that went to Parsons.
Okay.
Yeah. And so is that kind of like where it's just like, I'm not familiar with the history, but then do you start working in clothing and all of that, and then you get to
Yeah.
OV and then all of that, or?
Fuzzy for whatever reason. I guess it was New York.
New York.
Yeah.
I went to Parsons. It was, I think, the best part about Parsons, I did a design and management course. It was a business degree at a fashion or design school.
Yeah.
But the first year was learning all kind of the Adobe suites. So that really worked out in that I could visualize my ideas, over time and go raise money or whatever, get people. It was a nice way to visually communicate, which the tools were really helpful. And I'd say that was the highlight of Parsons, but
Great,
it was quite cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you ask?
Oh, no, definitely. I was just curious, from there, did you have other things you were trying out, or was Outdoor Voices like the first one that hit,
Yeah.
or forgive me, I'm
Totally.
not super
Yeah,
familiar with
because
the
I
history
can
of it.
imagine. I feel like New York is a place where people go to maybe get unhealthy. And then-
Totally.
So were you like running when you were at Parsons as well, or?
I had grown up in Boulder, had like activity as something very kind of central to my daily life, known that way of life, and then abruptly found myself in New York. So, like you're saying, activity is not like built in necessarily
Right.
unless you make it. So, throughout school, I was working in various companies. My parents actually were in the fashion business, and I told myself, never am I going to like deal with inventory. But
Interesting.
then here we are.
Yeah.
Actually, there I was. I left OV in last January.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was on the intramural team at Parsons, the basketball team, and I lasted
cool.
about 2 games because I also the security guards played, and I'd like be right at their armpit level, and it was very
Oh my God.
sweaty and stinky, and but I did stay active. But ultimately, I like realized in New York that a lot of people weren't active. Kind of went back to my childhood and understood how important activity was. Looked at Nike, had grown up with Nike, loved Nike, but realized there was a kind of space in the market in kind of this traditionally male-dominated space
Sure.
to create a brand that was, we called it free in fitness from performance, but like more accessible to people who didn't see themselves as a traditional athlete. And I knew the benefits of being active, didn't care if it was running super hard, walking, whatever, but like the consistency of daily activity from a mental standpoint was really important to me, and so built a brand around it.
Yeah. It was cool too because I discovered OV via Aaron Bobrow. He was working with you
He's
guys.
coming today.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good. Yeah. He was on the pod. He had a very we had like a very tripper tech convo with Aaron that was like
Awesome.
very
I need to listen to
He
it.
Oh,
breaks
yeah.
down
He-
the shoe, all the parts of his shoe,
Oh,
and like
hell
the
yeah.
materials.
Yeah, he gets very you're kind of I was following him and just kind of going down the rabbit hole of
Uh-huh.
tech. But I discovered OV via that, and so then through that world, it was cool because I got to see a side of, I guess, merchandise because I worked at Stussy for a long time.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so then it was neat to go, and I'd left Stussy, and it was neat to go and see what I think what happens, and a lot of people don't realize is when you're working for a company or you run a company, no matter what, you're kind of drinking the Kool-Aid no matter what because it's just like you live and
Yeah.
breathe
Yeah.
it. And so when I moved from Stussy to OV in regards to just what I was paying attention
Thinking
to,
of, yeah.
I was going oh, this is awesome. And it was nice also that the kind of head and main mission statement of it was activity. And I
Totally.
was like, oh, this is great.
Completely
Yeah.
different energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stussy was very, I think its vibe was very strong, and it's kind of off of this surf skate culture, which is great. But it was nice to kind of come into a world where it's oh, they make running shorts, and this running dress thing is really cool, and there was just
Yeah.
trying things that was nice.
The coolest thing, I loved the ability to activate the product. So the
Yeah.
mission was movement, and we called it doing things. And like where the brand really became sticky and people fell in love with it was not just like buying the dress, but bringing that dress to life, let's say on university campus in an exercise dress event. And that's what, for me, like really created the emotional connection, not just people in the brand, but people in others. And so when I think about community, like I got to experience that firsthand. So it was, looking back, inventory is hard and like apparel is a difficult business.
Sure.
But I look back fondly because of how it was brought to life.
Yeah. Why shouldn't you? Yeah.
Totally.
It's such a great legacy to have of just doing that thing for so long. It's really left a positive impact in a lot of people's minds.
And you were an OV model.
I was. I never modeled before, but I was on a billboard in San Francisco running down the side of a hill in Joshua Tree. Well, it's funny because like Aaron like asked me to come do it, and I'd never been on like a model shoot before, and so I'm like out in Joshua Tree with Aaron, and we get out there, and I'm like, so what exactly do I do? And like I'd acted up till this point, and Aaron looked at me. He's like, I don't know. You're an actor. I figured you'd know what to fucking do. I was like, and then I was like, oh, okay, like you get over here and like run half a mile. Totally. They take photos, and you know.
Were they doing the old like pat, like so the sweat wouldn't beat up? Were they patting you down or?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that was.
Hopefully not. We celebrate sweat.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not that. No, I was just stoked too. It was like I was like I'm such a big dude. I was afraid I wasn't gonna like fit in. My fear is I wasn't gonna fit in the shorts. I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna get out there and like I'm not gonna fit in these shorts. Like it's gonna happen. I like was, and then I got out there and I like saw all these awesome shapes and sizes. I'm like, I'm good.
That's awesome. I
mean,
modeling
was just running.
Yeah,
right.
That was all it was. It was so easy.
That's cool.
Face of OV.
It was definitely cool. I looked like a in shape Paul Blart mall cop or something like that, running down the side of a hill. So thank you for that.
Also, that's Eris, our friend, sitting on the picnic bench with us.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Glad to be here.
We'll chime in with Eris throughout the episode here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you leave OV and then what happens then? Are you take a break? Do you kind of reset, or are you like was Joggy kind of always in the back of your mind?
I think my like personal mission, passion, and probably career through line will always be around movement and like enabling or inspiring people to move. Mostly because I need it myself. You know what I mean? So like it's a good thing to be in business in, I guess. But I had started probably 4 years experimenting with taking different like amounts of THC and CBD ahead of runs, mostly to see if it could like help me go farther. Because like I had felt the runner's high when I ran cross country, which was very painful back in the day. But like it takes a lot of effort to like get to that blissful place where you can feel like the Energizer Bunny and like run forever.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And so I started taking this, and I found kind of at the right dosage or formulation, like you could take the edge off and just like slightly be lifted in a place that made running even more enjoyable. Right. Some people hate running. And it's hard. It's going to be hard today because I haven't run much. So I'm going to be looking at you guys, and I'm going to be taking runner's high. That's a Joggy product. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get into the products in a sec too, because I think it's a great place to kind of explain what each of them kind of do.
Yeah, of course. Totally. But anyway, that's the background. So I started experimenting, and then I was like, this would be cool if we could, like commercialize this and help people enjoy activity more and hopefully improve their endurance because of that.
It's true. Like you come to meet a lot of people who are like, I always have people ask me, because I do run a lot, they're always like, how do you do it? Or what do you get out of it? Or I also get people who are kind of like trying to have a conversation about it. And they're like, how do I get involved in it? And I always ask like, well, do you like running? And most of the time they say no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Like do something completely different.
Totally.
It's like, if you don't like running, like just like, if there's a billion other things you could do with your time. And I feel like it's cool in the sense that when you can achieve some of those things, like a runner's high, and we have a question about that later too, is like it does kind of put you in a club where you're like, oh, this is pretty rad. Like this is a nice experience that I have happening right here. Well, this is a great time to talk about it because we are going to be doing a race here pretty soon.
Okay.
But let's like go down like what with all of the products that you have, there's 4 of them, right?
There's 5 that we have developed, but only 3 are out today. In
Right.
May, the next 2 go live. Yes.
So let's just talk about like that, and then
Sure.
the 3 that are there,
Yeah.
and kind of like what's going to be achieved from these, like because
Sure.
I had one. I think I had Runner's High,
Uh-huh.
and I like found my. This is a bad thing, but I was like in a grocery store later, like yes, this,
Kinda
I'm
stony?
feeling something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Xenia gave me like a.
How much did you take?
I took a dropper and a half.
Oh shit.
You didn't even did you
Man,
read the
let me tell you
instructions?
one thing, man. I saw my Joggy doggy soon enough.
You didn't
Yeah.
need a wallet to see the doggy.
It's interesting. So most CBD oils are oil. Or
Right.
CBD formulations are oil. We found this manufacturer testing lab out of Austin called Sante, and this is a weird thing to say, but they're drug delivery experts. So we use a water-based technology that essentially encapsulates the cannabinoids into a lipid-like structure.
Is this like lipospheric vitamin C? Is it the same
Maybe.
kind of technology?
Probably. I don't know. It's like a lipid encapsulation technology that essentially makes the cannabinoids 4 times more bioavailable, which
I think that is,
you-
yeah.
like also think about science class, like water and oil don't mix. So
Right.
often when you think about CBD and like, is this doing something? Like in oil, it's hard for your body to absorb.
Right.
So when you pull the tinctures out, Runner's High or Ready Steady, and it's white and it's water based, and that's the main goal is like make it faster acting, which
It did. Let's just say if the route today on our Joggy run makes any sense, it'll be because of Runner's High. So we're gonna go through Trails Cafe and up the hill, and we're gonna hang out in the hill for like an hour.
Oh my God! Well, you gotta start slow, but that's a lot. I take like 4 drops.
Okay, that is what I will take.
I would even
Next
take
weekend.
1 or 2. Yeah, but for
Ease
a
into
race,
Yeah.
like we've had a few people. They ran the Big Sur Marathon, and they were
Oh,
like,
wow.
"Holy shit!" Like it's meaningfully different
Mm-hmm.
in terms of just like my psyche. Like I loved it.
Well, it's before LA Marathon, like you like just smell people ripping weed. There's like boom, and then they're like, and then they're about to just go embark. So this is a perfect little tool
It is, yeah.
to give you that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is if it's more of like to change people's mentality, or more for like their physical performance, or both.
It's more of I find that it's more of a mental thing. And so like and I would recommend starting slow.
Yeah,
like
don't-
dosing low and then building up. I mean, some
Good
people
to know.
That's for any pretty
My-
much good advice for anything.
Yeah, totally. My husband, for whatever reason, takes like 4 droppers and is like, it like cruises him through his day. But I'm like, you're a musician, I guess that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Anyway, like it's meant to kind of make you, it's like a joyful, euphoric kind of feeling. And I found it's a little more heady than body.
Yes.
And and then the second SKU, Ready Steady, is kind of your more traditional use case CBD. So I didn't mention this. THCV is the energizing and like slightly euphoric cannabinoid that gives you that feeling, gives you the Runner's High feeling. So Runner's High has THCV, which has energizing properties. Ready Steady is just full spectrum CBD, no additional cannabinoids. And it's slightly more calming. One thing that we found in our research was people get a lot of anxiety ahead of whatever, going to the gym, workout classes, group classes. And so Ready Steady is meant to take the edge off. And so it's a slightly different effect.
That's great. These are all what I love about them thus far is like it's actually like approaching an issue that people do tend to have with athletics or movement or going to the gym. Like even like I remember like when I would first start going to a gym, like it took me like 4 years to realize like, oh, you're anxious like here. You're not like enjoying this as much as you want to. It like took a lifetime to get to a point where I'm like was like happy to be in a gym. And it was like it would have been nice to have something to take the edge off, quite frankly, or know at least I needed to take the edge off. You know.
Well, it's something we always say to each other too, which is to stay loose. And it's like that's how you hurt yourself, right? Is if you're stiff, if you're not
Totally.
like if you're locked up, you need, and if people need something that can kind of assist them in staying loose, it's great.
That's totally yeah.
That's where the name kind of comes from. Like you think of jogging and like jogging gifts, and I don't know, there's something so cool about like the bounce and the chillness. Like that's kind of where Joggy came from.
The website's got this really great animation of this lady jogging, and it's just very bubbly and bouncy, and very fun.
That was you in the grocery store.
Yeah. What kind of hummus am I buying tonight? Oh, okay. Sea salt and olive oil. Here we go. And then because I have I think there's an edible one coming out. I went for the one you can eat. And so that's like a traditional CBD gummy type thing.
Yeah, the Rechargies. So again, full spectrum CBD, which means less than 0.03% of THC.
Okay.
But they have additional CBG and CBN, which are the cannabinoids that help with sleep.
Got it.
Actually, this is where Eris can chime in.
Yeah, Eris, talk to us about your experience.
I mean, I have to say, I'm just happy to be here, you guys. But one thing I'd like to say is, honestly, that's one that I tried, right? The gummy thing. Oh my God, I'm awful at sleeping. Here, let's do that one again. I'm terrible at sleeping. But that was probably the best night's sleep I think I may have ever had. And I'm not even like bullshitting. I talked to you, but I also called Mark the next day. I was like, dude, I don't think I've ever slept so well in my entire life. The next day I was ready. I could have cured world hunger. I was seriously, I was on top of the world. It's like, you know, that next morning, in like when you're having a big night and you're with everyone and it's like you can see so clearly, even though it makes no sense, obviously. But like in reality, I was actually able to see clearly, and It was like I was so fucking on it. I don't know that I have like been telling everyone about that because it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Because getting a real night's sleep, mind-blowing.
Priceless.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And the fact that people actually are able to get that on a normal basis, I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't know. I really want to do that one.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks. Rechargies.
Yep. Yeah. So what I find is you just sleep like a baby, and then you don't wake up with any sort of like after effects or grogginess.
Right.
No hangover.
Right. No hangover. Like sometimes when you take, I actually sleep quite well, but I do take this.
I sleep really well.
But I'm curious what you think about this, because like,
okay,
I wake up knowing I had 10% better sleep for whatever reason.
Right.
I don't know, and I don't usually take things to go to bed, but I obviously through development started taking these, and it is good. You're fresh the next morning.
Yeah, I have a friend who swears by CBD, but
I have a question. What running shoes do you guys like?
Oh no!
Why'd you have to ask that question?
I don't know if we have enough time on the
like
SD
what's
cars.
your go-to today? What are you
today?
running in?
Speed Goats.
Speed Goats.
Speed Goat 4. They just
That's
came out with
Nike,
the
right?
5. No, that's Hoka.
Oh shit, that's Hoka.
So I've, I just did. I'm like a big fan of the Speed Goats, and I was actually hoping. I ordered the 5s, and I think they're coming today, but I missed the delivery because I wanted to try them out today. But
yeah, I'm liking. I'm still like mixing it up. I just got a pair from Hoka that I really like, and then I do actually the on running shoes that they sent us. I've been like enjoying those more. But they're just. It's like a different shoe. Like there's so many different ways to do this now, and that's like one of the things I always bring up when I was like a kid. Like I ran like the mile in like bulky like Scottie Pippen shoes. Like I wish like someone could stop me and be like, no, you just need like a light shoe.
Totally, but it makes a big difference.
I remembered my sister was working on this TV show, and there was this extra there, and he was like this like world class runner who was just like an extra in television at the same time. He's training a lot of like the lead actors on the show, and I remember asking him like, what shoe should I run in? Looked at me, he's like, look, all you need to do is go to Big Five and buy the cheapest shoe there, and that's what you need to run in. He's like, it doesn't matter. And there's a truth to that. Like I think like you can. That's the fun thing about running is you can kind of do it very minimally.
Yeah, totally.
But I think like we get into the territory where it's like, well, I'm gonna buy a fucking shoe here.
Well, I think we kind of touched on it before too. It's like there's a part of getting outside, especially when you don't want to, like any little thing that can get you out the door, whether it's like, oh, I'm excited to run in these shoes or in these shorts, or you know, those little things, or even that, like taking a few drops of something, like those little things might be the motivator that we all need to like actually get us to, especially if we're training, you know, and you're kind of running pretty regularly, it can be tough.
Yeah, totally. No, I get it.
In terms of races, like how does Joggy kind of fit into like the race scene? Like what are the rules regarding like CBD with athletes? Like, do you have any, like, can you sponsor athletes, or how does that work?
We're kind of just in the middle of these types of conversations, and I think like from the, what is it called, the World Doping, the agency that sets kind of the
narcs.
testing. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Fucking narcs. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, yeah, well, whatever that is, like they're slowly green lighting CBD, and it's confusing because some sports allow it, some don't. The NFL, you can use CBD and they, don't test for it, but like track is still behind. So that's coming online, from a competitive or professional standpoint, like slowly, but we're really focused on the recreational athlete. So people, cool. And in many cases, like people who were professional and now, run races still to stay active.
Right.
It's important to characterize it. It's not something that's gonna boost your,
right.
Your speed or anything. It's just kind of like something to change your experience while running.
Yeah, it should be a bit more enjoyable. And I'm not a huge gym person.
Right.
But what I find being in nature is amazing. When you take one of the drops, it like lifts it it sparkles even more. So
yeah, totally.
To like be on a hike and like take a drop, it's like a pretty nice experience. One of the, go ahead.
Well, no, I think that there's like a truth to that too, because I think with like getting this stuff out there in the world and making it, I'm going to use the word digestible for people, where they're like, it's like something that they can try, something like from people that they like really like and respect, be it like, it really helps, I think, people like experiment with these things and then try it out and just see like it actually does help. Because there are so many like bumps, like there's just so much that's in some people's way.
Totally.
And if this can help motivate people, or if a new pair of shoes can help motivate people, it's just nice to have that stuff out there in the world. Because also, like, I think one of the things too with like what our experiences with the running community is, like, there is a lot of like, there isn't a lot of newness. Like, there's like, it's starting to happen more and more. And I think that, like, back to OV, that was what was exciting. It was like, oh, there's like a brand out there that's like doing interesting looking running stuff or athletic stuff, right? And it's not just like the typical like old school New Balance like brick shoe that you're running in, like, and it's going in a different direction, and there's like a good aesthetic behind it, I guess is the word that I'm saying, which is nice. And I think that that's what's great about your input into this world, is you've always had like a good aesthetic with what you're making in that community. And I know that's like what we're looking to do too, but like, here's a question for you. Like, when you're thinking about these things, what are you pulling from in regards to like, I mean, inspiration, like if you were to think of like, oh, I always like to go into this world, or where are you at least at today in regards to inspiration?
Well, there's kind of 4 principles we've created for Joggy and like brands that we're developing or products that we're developing. The first is movement. So it is made, any of the products are made for enabling, inspiring, or supporting movement. The second is that they're plant-based. So I spent the last 8 years in a very synthetic world. Like, activewear right now is all like petro oil based, and I think where the future's headed is
definitely not that,
is to plant based. And so we've been looking at a bunch of hemp and interesting kind of materials, potentially to get into something like that, we'll see. But movement, plant based, we work with an expert. So it's interesting because we really bring the brand and the personality and kind of the mission and purpose to life. But for me, like, it feels really important to work, especially in this type of product, with like the best. And so we work with Sante Labs, who's a very credible kind of testing and manufacturing partner. And then the fourth is personality. And so like the animation on the site, like, it doesn't look like your traditional energy or CBD supplement type brand. It's like a lot more personable potentially, and just like artfully brought to life, which I think brings a whole new kind of audience into the space.
Right.
The headline is like Joggy, for me, I think of it as having the potential as an energy brand. We're starting with CBD products, but we'll start to also introduce non-CBD energy products. Is a nice kind of replacement to Red Bull, but like clean, plant-based, good for you. But I love Red Bull's so cool in like how they bring product to market and like their guerrilla activations, and I think that's what we'll focus on and showing up at 10Ks. I'm running the Boulder. Have you done the Boulder? You guys should do it.
No.
It's cool.
No, definitely. We're always looking for new runs to do.
Yeah.
And that's a 10K that's going on.
I think it's the largest 10K in the U.S. It's in Boulder Memorial Day.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
You might want to come do it with me.
Yeah.
See you out there.
Yeah. That's where Joggy will start to show up, is rec races.
Now, before
Nice.
the podcast, we were talking about like running, and you were
Mhm.
saying like the half marathon is like your maybe like the most for you,
Yeah.
which is great. Like half marathon like is such a weird distance. It's like 13.1 miles.
Yep.
But maybe like, can you just give us a breakdown on like what one of those was and what your
Mhm.
experience was with that?
I did in college. I did one in Central Park, and
Ooh,
I
cool.
can't remember what it was called. That one, like, I had trained for, and it was fun. And then I did one in Brooklyn that went to like Coney Island.
Oh, nice.
Must
Oh,
have been the
wow.
Brooklyn half or Brooklyn
Yeah.
full, and we did half. And it was cold and drizzly, and I was not well trained, and like literally, I had the flu for like I felt like I had the flu for
Oh no.
ever after. But that was just because I wasn't properly prepped. But
Yeah.
maybe that's why at the beginning of this I was saying that I don't think I'll do longer than 13.1, but
That's
then
totally
I see
fair.
you guys do it, and hell yeah, that's awesome. So maybe I will.
It's funny, like like I was saying earlier, like I've been doing less miles this year.
Okay.
Like normally would get to like 1,000 miles a year, and this year it's like not. It's going to be like 400 if I
Okay.
get to that. And but yeah, it's interesting because like my body got like during the pandemic, I hit so many psycho runs that like my body just like locked up, and I wasn't able to lose weight anymore. I had to like just switch the whole like hormonal chemistry going on,
Interesting.
and then it started working. And it was interesting for me because I was hitting this wall with running that was like prior for me, like keeping me in really great shape, and I was like kind of overdoing it. So I had to have like this like reconnection with like shorter distance and all
Okay.
of that stuff. And at the end of the day, my friend Matt always says that like you can make like a 5K really hard. You just run it super fast.
Yeah, totally.
And that's what's fun about running. You can just like it's so modular, so changeable. But
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot too, trying to find a good balance with it, because especially when you were training for something, we get these training plans, and it's, you want to stick to them because you want to feel like you're making progress and you're on track, but like sometimes it's just unhealthy. Like
Yeah.
especially you kind of ultimately you have to listen to your body, right?
Totally.
And I think like we were training for this half, and then I have another longer race coming up.
he's
in
doing a
June.
50K coming up.
Yeah, so this will be my first
Holy.
one over. Yeah, it's like 30
Marathon, yeah.
miles, so it's like
Wow.
my first like
Get this
ultra.
guy some recharges, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Supercharges. Those
Yeah.
are the upper ones.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
recharge.
Oh, yeah.
You're
gonna need the super duper
Super duper charges.
we always end the show with this question, and we just wanted to ask you this, but we talked a lot about like runner's high via Joggy, but what is your own runner's high when you're working out or running?
That's a good question. I mean, being in nature for me is like kind of that in and of itself. Like I'm not a gym person. So like I live in Tucson right now, and we live on a wash where there's woo woo. I moved to Tucson and my social life went Eris is my only friend. Except for you.
Right on.
Anyway, I think for me it's like being in nature, and kind of the experience right now is running in the sand with huge saguaro cactuses that are 150 years old.
Yeah.
They grow an inch every 4 years. It's crazy. So
Right.
like when they start to have arms, they're 50 years old at least. Anyway, like dosing myself in nature is what I've found to kind of, that's probably what I think of most immediately
Right.
in terms of runner's high. But I just love the concept and what I knew of the feeling from the past, where like when you've really pushed yourself, there's like light at the end and brightness, and like you come to a valley and it's sparkly, and like that's a taste and a feeling that I want more people to feel.
Love it. Yeah.
Perfect.
That'll do.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
for,
thank you guys.
for coming on. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for having us. Let's have a good jog.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's get Joggy. All right. This is the Never Not Run podcast.